Hi, my name is Letty Bragg, and I'm a program counselor at Kids Escaping Drugs in the Face-to-Face program. And today I'm going to be discussing with you about how to effectively talk to your children. We all have our moments when we struggle to communicate with our kids. We get busy with work, school, homework, household work. But it's so important to communicate with your children so that they know that you care and that you'll be openly talking with them. Adults need to show that they are sincere about their feelings. As Sue Atkins states, there is no such thing as a perfect parent. Just be a real one. Adults that communicate effectively with children will have a better chance that the child will follow directions well. When you're talking to your kids, you need to be straight with them and forward with them, but gentle at the same time. Talking with them straight will give them exactly what they need to know and what to do. Listening is the ability to accurately receive and interpret messages in the communication process. It is a trick to listening. Sometimes you have to obtain that skill. A lot of people don't have that. You have to practice that. The first thing you want to do is get close to your child when they're speaking so you can hear them fully. You want to give your child their full attention. So you want to make sure that you're having eye contact and that you're nodding and recognizing that they are talking. Allowing your child to talk and not interrupt. A lot of time parents, and I have done this myself, have had the ideas and thoughts of what I wanted to say to my child concerning a certain thing that we were talking about. But that makes the child frustrated. You need to listen to the full conversation that they're saying. Avoid questions that break your child's train of thought. And that's another thing. When you are breaking their conversation, you're breaking up what they're saying, they'll lose their train of thought, and sometimes trying to get back on track will frustrate them, and in turn, it can also frustrate you. Focusing on what your child is saying rather than thinking about what you'll say next. Looking at your child so she knows or he knows they're being heard and understood. Showing your child that you're interested by nodding your head and repeating what they're saying. So if you're actually talking to your child and you're actively listening, you can repeat back what they said, which makes them feel confident that they're being heard and not just listened to instead. Tips for small children. Here are some tips for improving the way we talk to our kids. Number 1, use your child's name. Number 2, use positive language. Positive language, even in a negative situation, will help the child to feel comfortable with coming to the parent with anything. Always use positive language. Connect with your child using eye contact. Use volume appropriately. Even if you're upset with your child, do not shout or raise your voice. This especially will make a young child feel very uncomfortable and might even cry. So you have to be mindful of the child that you're talking to and the age that you're talking to. Suggest options and alternatives. If your child has done something, like maybe for instance broke a glass, so you suggest to the child, next time ask your mom to get the glass for you so you won't break the glass. Suggestions and alternatives. Keep it simple. Keep the conversation with a young child simple. You don't want to talk to the child or give them too much information. It will frustrate your child, and then they won't even retain the information that you're trying to tell them. Make it short and sweet. Keep away from nagging. Don't nag your child and say over and over after you talk to them the same thing. It will also make the child not want to listen to the parent after that. Model and expect good manners. So, of course, you heard the verbiage, do as I say and not as I do. We don't want that for our children. Positive interaction skills for young children. When you're dealing with a young child, you must meet them at their level. Number 1, squat down to the same level as the child instead of towering over them. If you tower over them, it may make them feel intimidated by the conversation that they're having with their adult. Maintain eye contact with young children. That lets them feel as if they're being heard. Even smile when you're talking to a young child. Avoid talking to them when your back is turned or when you are walking away from them. A lot of times, when children are little, and even with adults, no one wants to talk to someone with their back turned to them. We feel as if that they are ignoring us and we are not being heard. Use a gentle tone of voice, especially if tempers are starting to fray. So say for instance you're getting upset with your child, maybe they're not listening to you, or maybe they're just not doing what you said for them to do, like possibly sit down in the chair and they're giving you a hard time. Use a gentle tone with them. That may have the child feel more comfortable with actually listening to their parent. Teen conversation suggestions. Talking to teens already is difficult because they're coming and going and with their friends or on the phone or on their cell phone or TikToking. So, it's kind of hard even talking to them already. But there's some tips here that we can give you today that can help you to speak with your teen. First of all, you need to listen. If you are curious about what's going on in your teen's life, asking direct questions might not be as effective as simply sitting back and listening. Teens are more likely to open up with their parents when they don't feel pressured to share information. Remember, even an offhand comment after something that happened during the day with the child and reaching out is pretty good. You are likely to hear more if you stay open and interested. 2. Validate their feelings. Sometimes we have the tendency as parents to want to downplay their disappointments. We might say something like, oh, that wasn't right that they did that anyway, about a romantic situation maybe they were in, they had a breakup with the boyfriend. But instead, you have to validate how they feel and just simply say, wow, that just was really difficult for you to do, or it's really difficult for you to go through that breakup, and I'm here for you. Show trust. Teens want to be taken seriously, especially by their parents. Look for ways to show that you trust your teen. Ask them to do a favor so that you can show that you can depend upon them. Letting your child know you have faith in them will help boost their confidence and make him or her more likely to rise to the occasion. Don't be a dictator. Of course, you're a parent, so you have to set rules, but be ready to explain the rules that you're setting. While pushing the boundaries, it is natural for teenagers to do that. But when they hear your explanation, they might feel more comfortable with listening and expecting or receiving what you're saying. Say, for instance, it's a school night, and then your child wants to go to a party, and you say no because you have school in the morning and you have a test or so on and so forth. If you explain to them, they'll be more prone to hear what you have to say. It is important to create a safe place for feedback. You should have an area where you can talk to your child freely about their feelings, maybe in the bedroom or on a porch, or any safe, quiet spot that they feel comfortable, and so do you. Show concern. Try not to condemn. When talking with your teens about consequences or negative actions that they've done, don't make them feel worse than what they feel already. Don't say stuff like, what's the matter with you? Are you stupid or what? Say something like, why did you feel that you had to make that decision? Try to understand why your child made a certain choice or decision, and try to come to a conclusion of how to fix it. Find a good time to talk with your child. Plan ahead of what you're going to say to your child. Think about what you're going to say to your child and how you're going to say it. You have to be calm and patient. Limit distractions by turning off phones and devices. Keep a set time so your child knows what to expect. Listen and respect your child's story. Encourage the child's positive performances. Adults should remember that they are not perfect. You must speak to your child and communicate with them on a regular basis. Effective and open communication takes a lot of work and a lot of practice. I hope you enjoyed the presentation on how to effectively communicate with your children.